This war costed all of us a lot of money. And this is the responsibility of Russia, because the aggressor is Russia.
Indeed, it is. Russia started the war, and Russia will pay Ukraine, Europe, and the United States for their pathetic war. Or, at least, that's what should be the case. But will it?
Just so you understand, Europe is loaning the money to Ukraine. They get their money back. You are fake news.
Do you remember when the United States was the undisputed leader of the free world, when American presidents commanded the utmost respect on the global stage, when allies looked to Washington for guidance? Well, those days are over. And a viral moment between US President Trump and French President Macron just laid it bare for the entire world to see. During what should have been a routine diplomatic meeting, Trump confidently declared,
Again, just so you understand, Europe is loaning the money to Ukraine. They get their money back.
Straightforward enough, right? A classic Trump statement delivered with his trademark certainty.
They get their money back.
Except there is one small problem. It isn't true.
You are fake news.
Donald Trump repeatedly makes false claims about the financial support provided to Ukraine. He has stated that the US has given around $350 billion, while Europe has only contributed about $100 billion. He also falsely claims that European aid is structured as loans and will be repaid, while US money is simply given away.
They get their money back.
In reality, according to the Kiel Institute for the World Economy, Europe has both committed and allocated more money to Ukraine than the US, with Europe allocating $138 billion compared to the US's $119 billion. Additionally, European aid, like US aid, comes in various forms, including grants, loans, and loan guarantees. Anyhow, what happened next was extraordinary. The French president didn't nod politely or diplomatically change the subject. Instead, Macron did something that would have been unthinkable a generation ago. He publicly corrected the American president to his face.
Europe is loaning the money to Ukraine. They get their money back.
No, in fact, to be frank, we paid 60% of the total effort, and it was through, like the US, loans, guarantee, grants, and we provided real money. To be clear,
Okay.
We have 230 billion frozen assets in Europe, Russian assets, but this is not as a collateral of a loan because this is not our belonging, so they are frozen. If at the end of the day, in the negotiation we will have with Russia, they're ready to give it to us. Super.
That is the president of France explaining to the president of the United States that 1. Europe has paid the majority of Ukraine's support, 2. Europe provided actual grants, not just loans, and 3. We are managing the complex issue of frozen Russian assets, which requires sophisticated international diplomacy. And what was Trump's response to this masterclass in international finance?
Super. It will be loan at the end of the day, and Russia will have paid for that.
If you
This is my
believe
wish.
that, it's okay with me.
Which translates to, I refuse to acknowledge that I got it completely wrong, even when corrected with actual facts by a supposed ally.
No, in fact, to be frank, we paid 60% of the total effort.
Now, this isn't just an awkward diplomatic gaffe. This is the changing of the guard playing out in real time on the global stage. The leader of France publicly schooled the American president while the world watched. And here's what makes it even more remarkable. Macron is right. Europe has indeed contributed the lion's share of financial support to Ukraine. And just to be clear, I don't mean to downplay the US's generosity when it comes to fighting for our collective values. I really don't. I hope it doesn't come across that way. But Trump is just lying. Because in Trump's America, in MAGA, facts are disregarded when they conflict with the preferred narrative.
You are fake news.
Why engage with complex reality when you can just declare your own version of events?
They get their money back.
Sadly, Macron's schooling of Trump embodies something far more deeper than a mere US embarrassment. It represents a fundamental shift in the global order. For decades after World War II, American presidents projected both power and expertise. They understood, or at least their advisors did, the complex workings of international relations. Allied leaders have, on occasion, disagreed with American positions, but have they ever needed to correct such basic factual misunderstandings? I don't think so. What we witnessed between Trump and Macron was more than just one president correcting another. It was Europe, through Macron, asserting itself as being more informed, more engaged, and more responsible as a steward of international order, of our collective values, especially democracy and liberty. It's not that America has suddenly lost its military might or economic clout, but leadership on the world stage requires more than just power. It requires credibility, accuracy, and the respect of peers. And in that viral moment with Macron, we saw precisely what America is losing before our very eyes under leadership that can't be bothered to get even basic facts straight. The world order is rebalancing before our eyes. Europe is increasingly setting the tone on international cooperation, fact-based policy, and commitment to rule-based order that America itself established after World War II. This isn't about politics or partisanship. It's about the US's place in the world. It's about what happens when the most powerful nation on earth can't be bothered to understand or acknowledge basic facts about its own international commitments.
My absolute priority will be to strengthen Europe as quickly as possible, so that step by step we can really achieve independence from the United States.
To be clear again, I know that many of you from the US are very much still our allies, and we love you, we really do. But in that brief exchange, we caught a glimpse of our current reality, one where American leadership is no longer assumed, where European allies feel not just entitled, but obligated to correct the record, and where the mantle of global leadership is slowly but surely changing hands. And when you compound what's just happened with everything else that the Trump administration has been doing, such as alienating every ally by slapping tariffs on them, specifically to extort them, by the way.
It'll be very good for our country. Our country will be extremely liquid and rich again.
When you couple it with the fact that he wants to extort Ukraine for its resources, when all of this is put together, where does this end? What does the USA look like in 4 years' time? My deep hope is that Trump so severely shits the bed that he and, frankly, the Republican Party are sunk into oblivion.